Unafraid show, right or wrong. The week is flying by already, and it's just Tuesday. Greatest Unafraid show of all time brought to you today. Thank you guys for joining me. Please swipe up, share the feed, continue the conversation. You know, it's us together, us against the world on a daily basis. Couple great things up for you guys today. First of all, it was Kobe Bryant Day yesterday. Kobe Bryant Day yesterday, huge day for all the sports fans everywhere, even the ones who hate Kobe Bryant. It was the day for you to finally acknowledge the man, show the man some love. Big ups to Kobe Bryant. He had both number 8 and number 24 retired. A lot of people aren't real happy about that he got 2 numbers retired, but guess what? Kobe is, I'll tell you where, ranked in my top 10 all time. I mean, he's obviously the greatest Laker. You have to agree with that. Next thing as well. The NFL, well, the Carolina Panthers are going up for sale. How ironic would it be if the new owners of the Carolina Panthers, the Panthers, are black? The black guys owning the Panthers. Like that. Florida State and Oregon. It's turned into a rivalry already. One game, one coach has turned fans pitted against each other. This is great. Now, wouldn't it be great if those games could actually end up on the schedule? Jeez Louise. Wouldn't that be great? Actually give the fans what they want. Ezekiel Elliott is back for the Cowboys. Aren't you excited? He should have never been suspended probably in the first place, but, you know, such is life. You can't do much about those things. He's back. Now, can the Cowboys make the playoffs? We'll talk about that. But first up, before we get into everything else, I want to give a shout out to Sabrina Ionescu, Oregon sophomore guard. She could be the greatest women's basketball player in NCAA history. 7 triple-doubles in 44 games, tied the NCAA record. Freshman All-American, McDonald's All-American, MVP of the game. Big ups to her. Shout out to her. Appreciate it. You guys swipe up, share the feed now. So Kobe Bryant, we'll start there. Kobe Bryant had both numbers 8 and 24 retired by the Lakers yesterday in the middle of the Golden State game. Magic Johnson has called him the greatest player of all time. Is he right? There's a lot of people that want to hate on Kobe Bryant. And I don't like the hate. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's honest. It is very disingenuous. It's like people who hate on Michael Jordan. You know, it just is what it is. They're like air in basketball. You have to admit that they are as great as everybody else says they are. Think about this. Magic Johnson said he's the greatest Laker of all time. And so has Shaq. So have other players. So why is there this need for people to try to knock that down? You have to listen to the greatest players. When they tell you this man is the greatest, guess what? Believe them. Believe them. I watched it with my own 2 eyes. Oh, well, how about this shot percentage at the end? Man, stop it. Man, stop it. When NBA players were polled, the majority of them said that if they had one shot to go in a game, who would they rather take it? Them or Kobe Bryant? They all said Kobe Bryant. So when the players tell you they want Kobe Bryant to shoot their shot, guess what? Kobe Bryant is supposed to be shooting the shot. Greatest Lakers player of all time. Like, let's not sidestep that. I didn't like, though, last night in the Warriors-Lakers game that the Lakers lost. It was Kobe's big day. They needed to win. Like, this needed to be, I know, like, they got the Warriors shorthanded. They had to win the game. And then Caldwell Pope airballing the game winner, hated it. Absolutely hated it. Kobe had to walk out. Not mad at the guy for that. But when it comes to Kobe being the greatest Lakers player of all time, who are the people in your discussion? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Jerry West. 2 of those 3 dudes, Magic Johnson and Jerry West, say that Kobe Bryant is the greatest Laker of all time. Believe them. Kobe's got 5 championships. The most assists all time by a non-point guard. The only one who's above him that could be classified as that's not a point guard is LeBron James, but we all know that LeBron James is a point guard. He dominates the ball, facilitates all offense. He's a point guard. But he's only got 1 MVP, guys. Well, if he didn't, he got jobbed out of 2 of them that went to Steve Nash. Like, let's be honest about this. Like, this is what it is. Yeah. So that's Kobe Bryant, one of the best players of all time. And he's actually, I'm going to get into a little bit, the top 10 NBA players of all time. He's in there. Kobe Bryant is not only in the top 10, he's in the top 5, and he's ahead of the LeBron James. Yes, he is. Still greater than LeBron James. Even though LeBron James is playing some of the best basketball we have seen at this point in time, the man has lost 5 finals. Like, let's not even talk about this. I mean, like, what are we doing here? Kobe's a winner. He's a maniac. You got to love it. Big shout out, though. Big shout out to Texas pitcher Cole Hamels and his wife Heidi. They donated their mansion, a $9.4 million mansion, and 100 acres of land in Missouri to a charity that provides camps for children with special needs and chronic illnesses. Huge. Yes, I am a Lakers fan. That is huge by Cole Hamels and his wife. Wanted to give a shout out to them because we always talk about people when they do the wrong things. We have to shout out people when they do the right things. Cole Hamels and his wife said that this was their ministry, and you have to applaud them for that. Anybody who's willing to donate $9.4 million in a house that they could sell, love it. I know he's going to get some tax write-offs for it, but he should. Given it shall be given unto you. I wanted to go in and further talk about this. It's just funny how rivalries get started, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, whatever they are. I'm going to get into the Florida State-Oregon rivalry that has developed over 1 game and 1 coach in just a second. But first, I wanted to talk about an article that I wrote today. We talked a little briefly about it yesterday, about the Carolina Panthers ownership. Jerry Richardson is being forced, even though he says it's voluntarily, he's being forced to sell the team because he knows it's in his best interest to sell the team, to sell the Carolina Panthers. And the question, like a few questions arise. First of all, how much is the team going to sell for? Obviously, that's a huge deal. We'll get into that. Who may buy the team? And what the hell did Jerry Richardson do? So to answer what did Jerry Richardson do, I don't know. However, it must have been pretty damn bad. It's got to be pretty bad for Jerry Richardson to voluntarily sell the team that he worked so hard to get and to bring to Carolina with an expansion team. So you can't like discount that it's just, oh, it's just some little bitty thing. No, hell no. Jerry Richardson did something awful. If he is voluntarily selling his team, like, make no mistakes about that. Like, you can't sit there and think that it's anything other than something horrendous that would be, damaging to the NFL, to the brand, and everybody else. That's what Jerry Richardson did. And Sports Illustrated, we talked about it. 4 former employees, he settled significant monetary settlements with them. Yeah, he did something bad. The second thing. Who would be the next owner? And could it be a black man or woman? And I asked the question, like, this is the legit question. If the Carolina Panthers owner looks like P.Diddy or Jay-Z, Steph Curry, LeBron James, all that, are people going to be okay with it? What do you think? Because I think it's a legit question. When you look at the temperature of, like, the things in this country, stuff going on with the Confederate flag, stuff going on with Colin Kaepernick, stuff going on with all this, do you believe that Confederate flag waving people are going to be okay with some people from the hip hop culture owning an NFL team? Because when you look at what has gone on in the NFL for like historically. There have been, until Shadid Khan in 2011, there had never been a minority who was a majority NFL owner. Never had happened. It's tough to crack the good old boys club. And do you think that these good old boys who like things to go their way, you notice, I mean, when Jerry Jones just tried to fight him about Goodell's extension, they beat him up. Other owners, they'll beat them up too. Pressure them, all that stuff. So you think that they're going to let them just get in the good old boys club without a fight? Oh, yeah. But it could work in their favor, though. If you look at what's going on in the country, there could be a lot of public pressure on the owners to let somebody of color in because it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to have somebody from the hip-hop culture in ownership position because P.Diddy, Jay-Z, all these guys, great businessmen. They've amassed fortunes, nearly $1 billion. So, and they have huge followings. They're very impactful. And remember, hip-hop culture is not a black thing. May have started off as that, but hip-hop now is not just a music. It's not a race. Hip-hop is a culture. It is a lifestyle. It's a way of life. And guess who the majority of hip-hop culture is? Millennials. And millennials are the group that the NFL is missing right now. They're missing the millennials because they're not diehard fans like people older than them. Millennials are not. So you can't think that all of a sudden that they're going to be doing something, that you're going to change their viewing habits without changing your infrastructure. Because the NFL right now is stuck. They're like a dinosaur. They believe that they have all the answers. This is the way that we've done it for so long. We got the answers. No, you don't. If you had all the answers, your viewership wouldn't be down. If you had all the answers, you wouldn't be having players suing the league if you had all the answers. It is time to do something different. And what better way to do something different than bring some fresh blood, some fresh ideas into the ownership room? But will they allow that? But will the owners allow that? Because Combs, Curry, LeBron, other people have been very critical of President Trump. And we know at least six owners donated at least $1 million to his campaign. I don't know how they feel about him now because he may be persona non grata with them because he may be persona non grata with them, with the NFL owners because of his statements on Twitter calling for the questioning their nonprofit status, all of this. That's a big deal. And if you're looking at the NFL, will they do it? Who are some other potential owners other than Sean Combs and Steph Curry? Because they may not quite have enough money on their own to buy the team. You got Oprah, got Michael Jordan, and a guy you might not have heard of in Robert E. Smith. He's a big financial guy, $2.5 billion. That's enough to own a team. But here's the thing that people don't really realize about owning an NFL team, that you would think that it goes to the highest bidder. Nope, it does not. The NFL ownership must then turn around and approve the new owner. So it's like getting in a country club. You don't just get in a country club because you go pay your dues. No, you want to get in Augusta. I mean, this is what being an NFL owner is like. It's like getting in Augusta. Yes, this is a Broken Skull Ranch shirt. Yes, so that's what it's like. And remember how hard it was for people of color to get in Augusta when the IBM CEO had always been a member of Augusta. A woman became CEO. What happens? Nah, we don't do that anymore. That's what it's like getting in the good old boys club of being an owner. yes, all the owners vote on the new owner. It's hard to break in that club. And Jerry Richardson, he bought the Carolina Panthers in 1993 for $206 million. And Forbes just valued the franchise at $2.3 billion. Here's why I don't understand why people even gripe about player salaries or any of that. Because if a guy can buy a team for $206 million in 93, sell it 24 years later, and it be worth $2.3 billion, don't you think that he can afford the player salaries? Let's not talk about greed, because these are shrewd businessmen. They're fine. Trust me on that. So $2.3 billion. And there's some interesting rules surrounding ownership. Is that at least 30%, is that whoever the new ownership is, like the entire group, at least 30% of the group has to be owned by one person. At least 30%. And assuming that people aren't going to fudge the numbers at all just to get an ownership group or give up more than what they put in, that's about $700 million, if the valuation is correct, that somebody would have to come up with to buy the Carolina Panthers just to get the 30% stake at that. I mean, that's a whole lot of cash. And I mean, I don't see these numbers as unreasonable, because a couple years ago, the Buffalo Bills sold for $1.4 billion. And they're the least valuable NFL franchise. It's in Buffalo. Carolina has Cam Newton. They have a big-time city who is growing. Like, you have the city of Carolina, which is growing. NFL franchise. You got Cam Newton. You got the Michael Jordan there with the Hornets. This could happen, people. This could happen. I will say, though, that Jerry Richardson made a very, very strategically smart move by putting the team, saying the team is up for sale now, but then that it's not going to be up for sale until after the end of the season. Because coming up with $700 million is not easy, not even for billionaires. So they have to make plans and contingency plans and need to start making arrangements to make this happen. So now that means he's going to be able to fetch the highest dollar amount for the team, providing that the ownership will approve it. Because right now their ownership looks like Richardson owns 49%, approximately 49%. The Belk family, 5%. The Levine family, around 10%. And Jerry and Steve Woodsworth, around 16%. And there are about 8 other minority owners that make up the rest. That is, I mean, so is it possible that some of the other owners, the guys who own 16%, get up to 30%? It's possible. But to pay $2.3 billion, they're probably going to cash that thing out. Cash it out. Go somewhere else, because if you can't afford the $2.3 billion, that's a pretty penny. And you got to run the team and all that. Yeah, that's not for everybody. But I've go back to, because I understand that some people are going to draw offense to my desire to see a black man as an owner in the NFL because he's black. But it's not just because he's black. I want a capable owner, obviously, because remember, you have to remember certain things. I love football. I love football. Dedicated a lot of my life to football. So I want to see players be in a better position, owners be in a better position, and 70% of the league is black. So yes, I would like to see a black owner, but I want to see a capable businessman own it. And these are people that I've named: Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Sean Combs, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Beyonce. I mean, like, these are people who can get in there and actually make huge strides and get many, many people to watch the games. Big deal. It's a big deal, because kids in the hip hop culture don't just look to, like, it's not just black kids looking at the hip hop culture. You look at Macklemore is a big artist. Post Malone is big now. Eminem. There are multiple Justin Bieber, he's part of hip hop culture. I mean, you have Got7 and all these BTS, all these Korean K-pop. Like, these are part of hip hop culture as well. It transcends race, it transcends country. So now imagine what the NFL could do having hip hop culture on its side. Getting those people to watch the games. Big deal. Big deal. And you will have kids aspiring to, oh, wait, hold up. I can do that. I don't have to be old money to do old money things in my life. Like, I can achieve better and do better. Oh, I would definitely say that there is a huge potential that the Good Old Boys Network is going to be afraid of a powerful minority voice. So we talked about that. Like, a powerful voice that's in the room that can be influential outside of the room. Because you got to remember, Jerry Richardson, Robert Kraft, and Jerry Jones are probably the most three powerful owners. Now imagine how powerful Sean Combs could be when you can rally, not just 12% of the population in black people, but you can get 30, 40, 50% of the population to agree with you. You can get their kids to agree with you. That's where you can win. That could be a big deal. Next thing up, Ezekiel Elliott is back from... Oh, he says, somebody says, stop saying Jay-Z, he wrecked the Nets. He didn't wreck the Nets. Prokhorov, the real owner, wrecked the Nets. Jay-Z actually brought attention to the Nets. Got their new logo, would wear their hats more visible. He brought attention to the Nets. Prokhorov, with that dumb decision to trade away all the draft picks for the scratch and dent band Celtics, for the over-the-hill Celtics, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, that's what ruined the Nets. It's not Jay-Z didn't ruin the Nets. Next thing up, Florida State and Oregon's rivalry. I find it very, very interesting that, no, man, Jay-Z didn't sell the Nets to Prokhorov. Prokhorov already owned it, and he bought part of it. Jeez Louise, man, come on. So the next thing up, the Florida State-Oregon rivalry. Big deal, because this thing is heating up. I mean, it is. It's heating up everywhere. Like, this is and it's all because, like, you would have thought that it would have been because of, how badly Oregon beat Florida State in the college football playoff, I think in 2014. You would have think that would be it. Nope. It's over a coach. It is over assistant coaches. My timeline has been flooded for 3 days. Actually, since Willie Taggart's time, the whole Florida State fiasco about Florida State. Is Jim Leavitt staying? Is Mario Cristobal staying? Your team's overrated. You guys are salty. You guys are crybabies. How great would it be for college football fans, Oregon, Florida State fans, who have this newfound rivalry, because everybody's checking to see what the other person is doing. Early National Signing Day starts tomorrow. They're fighting for recruits. This is a big deal. Now, how much better could it be if these teams actually played a game against each other in the regular season? Wouldn't fans want to see that? Absolutely. These teams have schedules built out 18, 19, 20. Okay, fine. But they throw teams off the schedule all the time. Cancel a game. Get on the game. I mean, I've written about this many times and I don't see the outrage. I don't understand the lack of outrage in college football schedules. Fans want this. Noles fans want this. They feel like they're superior. Oh, you guys at Oregon, we're just Florida State. We're Florida State, we're way above you. And Oregon fans are screaming, no, you're not. No, you're not. So settle it on the field. Because the last time that it was settled on the field, Florida State got their ass kicked. It's the truth. But nobody knows these things because what happens in sports is that everybody gets segregated to their corners. These college football schedules have caused teams, conferences, and fans to be segregated to their corners, and nobody can really say who's truly better. Nobody. How can you truly say that when teams refuse to play each other? When they refuse to make great schedules? They refuse to. So why don't we get what we need? Yeah, I know. Florida State has 3 national championships. I get it. But you're only as good as your last game. You're only as good as your last season. You can live on history as you want to because you can fire coaches every single day. But why not get a home and home? Why not get a home and home? That'll be a ratings gold. People will be excited about that. ESPN can play it up because they own almost every single game. Between them, ABC. Fox has some games too. Play it up. This is what fans want to see. Like, let's stop doing anything other than what the fans really want. They want great games. They want to see this rivalry. They want to know who's going to win. Taggart and Coach Pip, who he took with him? Or is Oregon going to win with Cristobal, Levitt, Salavea, those guys that are staying? This is what fans want to see, and to give them anything other than that is wrong and it's foolish. We talked about Kobe Bryant Day earlier today. Now, I wanted to get into the top 10 greatest NBA players of all time. Top 10 greatest NBA players of all time. You guys swipe up, share the feed now. Going to give you my top 10 players of all time. Honorable mention. I know people are going to start throwing stuff. They're going to drop their phone. They're going to break it when I say who is outside of the top 10. Bill Russell. Bill Russell is outside of my top 10. I know he won 11 championships. I know the man is the greatest, potentially greatest leader of all time in sports. Coach, player, all these things. I get it. That's Bill Russell. However, in terms of being one of the most skilled players of all time or the most dominant players of all time playing against other competition, he's not that. Like, let's not, he gets credit because he paved the way for so many other players. But when we're just talking about the pantheon of greatness, greatest players of all time, most skilled, all that, Bill Russell is not in the top 10. Let's just be real about this. Number 10, Hakeem Olajuwon, number 10. He's probably, he set the mold for a guy like Joel Embiid for what he's doing now. Guards went to go work with him on their footwork, their fadeaways. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, all have worked with Hakeem Olajuwon because the man is fantastic. He had the dream shake. Fantastic. He is one of the top 10 NBA players of all time. Shaq at number 9. Shaq was dominant. Shaq was big. He played against other big people as well, something that Bill Russell really didn't do. Shaq sitting at number 9 in the top 10. Number 8, Larry Legend. Only white man in the top 10. Larry was fantastic. I wish he hadn't hurt his back so he could have played longer because he was clutch. He was nasty. He was fun. He played tough. Love Larry Legend. Have to love him. Number 7, one of the most underrated NBA players of all time, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan sitting in number 7 in the top 10. Championships all over the place. Constant professional. You know what you're going to get. He shows up big. High on the scoring list, high on the rebound list, high on the block list. This man was just the franchise. Year in and year out, you can count on him. You're going to the playoffs. You're going deep, making a run. Man, it's fantastic. Tim Duncan sitting at number 7. Wilt Chamberlain at number 6. Wilt Chamberlain, I mean, his stats are gaudy. He did what Bill Russell did not do in terms of stat-wise. That's why he's in the top 10 and Bill Russell is not. Wilt Chamberlain was fantastic. Dominant, changed the game, changed the way defenses were played, got people interested. And then also, I mean, he was like the first NBA sex symbol. A lot of people got the Wilt Chamberlain trophy on their wall, or, you know, somebody, he's their real daddy. They're going to be finding him through Ancestry DNA one of these days. 20,000? 20,000 though? Number 5 on the list, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the NBA's all-time scoring leader. Created a shot nobody could stop. Kareem. The thing that's hard for me to put Kareem at number 1, where some people might or have thoughts about, is big men are less impactful on the game and more dependent on other people than guards are, simply because they don't handle the ball. They have to be fed the ball by somebody else. That's what makes Durant so incredible, is that he's 7 feet tall and he can create his own shot and all that stuff. Oh, gosh, the Florida State hate still going on, even though we're in the top 10 players of all time. I would agree that Florida State won't beat Oregon anytime soon. But, well, they won't play, but when they do, they'll win. Number 4, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is the 4th greatest player of all time. Career cut short. If it had not been cut short, could he be the best of all time? 100%. 100%. Best point guard of all time. Fantastic man. Number 3, LeBron James. LeBron James, number 3 of all time. Lost 5 finals. But he's playing some of the best basketball you have ever seen. Like, when it goes to skill-wise, because I've said that LeBron is not the greatest player of all time. However, LeBron is the greatest off the field, off the court player of all time. Like, he's the greatest. He's the greatest with his teammates. He's the greatest with the fans. He's the greatest in his community. Like, in terms of the great players. Like, there are some other people who might win Man of the Year award. You have to give credit to that. But LeBron James, I mean, you at number 3 of all time, like, you cannot argue with that. Like, you cannot argue that he's the greatest player of all times when he's lost this many finals. Do I think he's fantastic and fun to watch? Yes. And in his, like, 13th, 14th year, he's finally getting that killer instinct that we wanted in LeBron James. But that's why he's still number 3 on the list. Can't be number 2 or number 1 yet, even though he's got an opportunity. He's got to win more chips. He's got to if he wants to be up on that list. Number 2, Kobe Bean Bryant. 2nd greatest player in NBA history. 2nd greatest player in NBA history. I'm going to give you some reasons why. Not only is he a 5-time champion, not only does he have the most assists all time by a non-point guard. Said LeBron's a point guard. Oh, George has only got 1 MVP. Yeah, he should have 3. Should have 3. They gave it to Steve Nash. And he did something incredibly impressive. When he had his rape case going on, which is the reason why he didn't get 2 league MVPs. When he had his rape case going on, what did Kobe Bryant do? The man came up and showed up every single night. It was like he was playing for his freedom. He'd be sitting in the courtroom in Colorado, fly back out to LA, same day as the game, no warm-ups, come out there, drop 40. Players don't play under that kind of pressure. We've seen LeBron James under that kind of pressure. When they were younger, too. Didn't happen. Like, people crumble under this when they have personal stuff going on. We see it all the time. The man never crumbled. The man never cracked. Ever. Same thing with Same thing with Michael Jordan, who's #1 on the list of all-time greatest players. Never cracked under pressure. Dad died, championship. The personal problems at home, championship. I want to go play baseball, come back, championship. The man never cracked. 6-0 in the finals. Pushed his teammates to the limit. I get that LeBron is more likable and that we want to, like, this is not a knock on LeBron's greatness. However, when you look at what he's done with his teammates compared to what Kobe has done with his teammates, it's not even close. It's not even close. Because you hear people say Kobe doesn't make his teammates better. That's a lie. There's no bigger lie than that. Let's take a look at guys like Shannon Brown, Luke Walton, Trevor Ariza, Rick Fox, a bunch of other players, Sasha Vujacic, Jordan Farmar, who all left the Lakers, and people thought that they could be really good NBA players, signed them to big contracts because they thought they could be starting NBA players. They go to the new team, to the Suns, to the Nets, to wherever else they went, and they were below average NBA players. I mean, this is real. Like, that's what Kobe Bryant is. Like, you can never say that he didn't make his teammates better. He's actually made his teammates better than LeBron James has made his teammates. LeBron James has actually stifled the productivity of some of his teammates. Some of them he has made better. Not gonna deny that. However, some of them he has stifled their careers. That's the truth. So we've covered today Kobe Bryant Day. Both 8 and 24 retired, which is a great thing. He deserves it after they jobbed him out of multiple MVPs. And he's underappreciated, which is interesting, which is like crazy. And he gets this bad rap as a guy who doesn't pass, even though that he's first on the NBA's all-time assist list by non-point guards. LeBron's a point guard. The NFL may have new black owners. And it might be of the Panthers. The black guys owning the Panthers. Like it. I'm in. Panthers fan forever. If they buy it. Greetings from Munich. Want to say hi to you guys too. I spent some time at Edelweiss. Love Germany. Florida State and Oregon's rivalry. I love it. Great for college football. Please put it on the schedule before it fades away. Please, like, give us something like 2 years away to look forward to. Come on, man. Like, imagine, like, Clemson and Alabama playing in a regular season game. What? How great would that be? I mean, come on. Imagine Florida traveling outside of the state of Florida again to play a non-conference game. Be fantastic. Oh, and the one thing I did not cover already today is Ezekiel Elliott is back. Oh, yes. Somebody said that it'd be like the California and Florida high school football game. Yes, everybody wants to see that. People want to see Texas Cali. They want to see Texas Florida. They want to see Florida Cali. They want to see Northeast versus Northwest. Who's better? Who actually plays football? I mean, come on. Like, let's give the fans what they want. We're not doing that. Ezekiel Elliott back for the Cowboys. Cowboys still have hope to make the playoffs, but let me tell you what that is, in case you don't know. In case you don't know what Ezekiel Elliott means to the Cowboys are 8-6 right now, but here's what they need to make the playoffs. They play Seattle on Sunday at home. Seahawks are beat up. They're hurt. They're going at each other. But here's what they need. The Cowboys, so they play Seattle and then they play Philadelphia. They need to win both of those games to finish at 10-6. And then they still might not get in. Because here's what they need. Dallas needs Atlanta to lose both of its final games. Or for Carolina to do so. And Detroit to lose once. or New Orleans to lose twice. That's what they need to make the playoffs. These hopes are slim, but you handle your own work. A lot of times you get rewarded for it. And there would be nothing greater than the Cowboys making it in the playoffs, because what happened last year? Tom Brady was suspended. First 4 games of the season. What does he do? Come back Super Bowl. If the Cowboys get in the playoffs, they are going to win the Super Bowl. This is how things work in life. This is how things work. When you get jammed up, when you get wrongfully done, when you get punishment harsher than you're supposed to, and then something great happens to you, you get an opportunity, you go bust up the world. Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys would bust up the world, bust up the NFL, throw stank in Roger Goodell's face again, and he's got to eat crow again, just like he did with Tom Brady and the Patriots last year. I was just in Boston a few weeks ago, and people are still having that Roger Goodell with the clown nose. They're still rocking nose towels all over the place. Yeah. Yep. That's the way they feel about Roger Goodell. Thank you guys for joining me today. Unafraid Show, right or wrong. unafraidshow@gmail.com. Send in your emails for the anonymous mailbag tomorrow. It'll be great. The greatest one of all time. We try to make it better every single week. Yeah. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.